All right, we will go ahead and get started tonight. And just so you know, this is set up as a webinar and not a meeting. So you will have to hit your Q&A or question and answer to add a question in. So you won't be able to unmute just because of the size of the meeting. It doesn't let me have a meeting. It makes me have a webinar. So just an FYI. Amy DeGroot, my support staff, will be helping to monitor the chat tonight. So she will hopefully catch all of your questions as we go. Um, and we'll just keep moving forward. Hopefully there's not, I mean, if there's questions, great. Hopefully I've tried to cover everything that you might need to know as we go forward tonight. But please feel free if there are questions that you have that you put them in the chat so that we can get those answered or do our best to answer those. State show is coming up fast, so we're excited about that. We've got a fairly long agenda tonight. I'll say a lot of slides, but I want to make sure that we cover everything that we need to cover with you and that we have everything documented on this webinar for those who couldn't make it tonight. As you saw, this is being recorded. It will be posted. So make sure if you aren't on and you know other people in your county that they have the opportunity to watch it, or you share the information that will be helpful for them as we move forward. So we'll go ahead and get started. Like I said, we have kind of a lengthy um, agenda tonight. And just so you know, the things that we're going to be covering and letting you know, just to inform you of what's happening, is how we're going to get there, how you come into there, because we need to be managing people a little differently than we have before at the State Horse Show when there were multiple gates to come in at the state fairgrounds. The gates and what will happen when you come through the gates, unloading, county shavings and shavings purchases, camping, what you need to bring or things to think about, parking in trailers, all of those kind of things, horse office or show office and horse barn office, stalling information, county packets, checking in, the schedule change. There is a schedule change, and you probably have the old schedule, so that is hugely important to know. The schedule change, and also I want to just make sure that we know or are informed about the staggered classes that we have so that people don't miss their classes. Weather, beware, how that'll be handled and what that looks like. Herdsmanship, grand entry, the mixer, practice arena and warm-ups, patterns, interviews, live stream, national trip sign up, camping registration, and this is going to cover both Cannon Falls and the Sauk Center show. Camping registration, stall checkout, showers and porta potties, golf cart, UTV, ATVs, do's and don'ts, and where to go for questions. Those are the main topics we're going to cover. There'll be pieces of those. Hopefully, we address most of your questions throughout these, but like I said, make sure you ask those. Now is your time to ask those questions before you arrive, if you still have them as we go through. So I'm excited. It's coming soon. It's coming fast. We think we're as ready as we can be with all the shift in location and all of those things that have been ever changing, but we've got it pretty hammered down. Now, you know, we might have a few bumps, but we will work through those. We're prepared for those and ready to move forward so that we can ensure we have a great 2025 State Horse Show this year. So getting there, we want all participants to enter from the north. So we'll have traffic flowing in one direction only, so we don't end up with multiple directions of trailers trying to turn into the same place that we try and travel. So if you're coming from the north on US 52, you exit on US 52 South. And it sounds weird because you're on 52 South, but there is a US 52 South exit to Harry Avenue, and then you travel south on Harry Avenue. And I'll show you a map in just a minute. If you're coming from the south, travel north on US, whoops, supposed to be 52, sorry, past the Simons Arena to exit towards Rochester Boulevard, which is the actual exit that's at Arena Trailer Sales, and then continue to Harry Avenue and travel south on Harry Avenue. If you're coming from the west, you'll travel in on Highway 86 and you'll turn right on Harry Avenue. And if you're coming from the east, there's no real direct route from the east. So you'll either come into 52 north of where we have to go or south. So then just follow your north or south directions. So if you look at it, if you're coming from the north, it is 52, but there is a 52 exit. So you would exit there. well, it'd be 280th Street East and Rochester Boulevard kind of exit, but it says exit and onto 52 South. And then you'll maintain and stay on Harry Avenue. It's just straight off that on the way south. If you're coming from the north, as you see, you'll come past, you see where the red dot is? That's where the arena is. You'll go past that, travel north. You'll exit where Arena Trailer Sales is, which is that exit, and then you'll go across onto 280th and take the Harry Avenue and come back south to the arena. If you're coming from the west, if you come on 86, you will exit right onto Harry Avenue and not have to hit US Highway 52 at all. And like I said, if there's no real good way to come from the east, there's no direct shot straight over. If you'd follow Rochester Boulevard down, it goes into Cannon Falls. If you're going to come from the north, you're going to hit 52 either way, and then travel down to Simon's Arena as you come forth. So there's different directions. None of them are hard. Those are all paved roads to get there. There's no gravel roads to Simon's. They're all nice roads, but we do ask that everybody comes in from that north as you see the arrow traveling down so that we have only one way of traffic as we move forward. And if you've got to back up, it's best that we back up that direction than south. So gates and what will happen. So as you enter the gates of Simon's Arena, you'll stop and we'll have many people out there. We've got a big crew that's going to help this process as we kind of check you in. So someone will get you your camping pass if you have one and direct you into either the unloading lanes for horses or the camping lanes. So we'll have it set up into lanes. So depending on where your stalls are, you will be put into a lane that directs you to the unloading spot that's closest to your stalls. So they'll know that at the gate also of where you're being stalled and put you in the right lane. So you will unload, and then if you have a living quarter horse trailer, after you unload, then you'll travel down to the camping area if you're hauling horses. If you're not hauling horses and you just have a motorhome or a camper, you'll go directly to the camping lane if you have a camper, and it'll direct you immediately down to the camping area. The gate people will let you know what lane to enter that is closest to your stalls for unloading, and give you your stall assignments. So you'll know what number stalls you're at, and depending on which lane you get put in, where you're to be unloading at, and then direct you to the appropriate lane or to the camping lane. If there isn't anyone at the gate when you arrive, there's going to be someone there all day Thursday and a lot of Friday. But if you happen to come in, you're not coming in till, say, Saturday night or maybe Sunday morning even, because there are a few that are just pleasure or English. There might not be someone at the gate at that time. So if you come in later, or at an odd hour, any of those, please check in at the office on your arrival so that we can give you the information and the pieces that you need to be able to camp or get you camped in a spot where you're supposed to be. So whether it's electric, non-electric, or if you have an empty trailer you need to drop, because those will be designated in different places. So as you come in the gates, we're going to move you through as quickly as possible. Lots of people will be helping you, letting you know, like I said, you'll get the passes that you need, whether it's camping, ATV, any of those that you registered for. You'll also find out what lane you go in that'll put you closest to your stalls for unloading. So kind of in a nutshell, this is what it looks like, but this is not a perfect diagram yet. We won't necessarily have the lane set up until we get there Wednesday to see what's our best way of travel. But it's likely that the outside lane or the lane farthest over will go directly down to the camping because that lane is there. And lane 1, 2, and 3 will put you into either Simon's Arena or into the extra building piece that was put up with the extra stalls in it. So depending on where your county's stalls are, you'll be directed into one of those 3 lanes. And that'll hopefully keep everything moving forward. Everyone will be going the same direction, so we won't have any big traffic jams or roadblocks. Unloading. So we'll have a parking crew that'll direct you to the farthest spot for unloading so that we can make sure that we're filled up as far as we can unload as fast as possible so we can keep the line flowing. We have a lot of people to get in. So if you can move your things out of your trailer, and even if you have to unload it into like a spot on the grass and then move it in, but you can keep the trailer moving. So horses and equipment in, keep the trailer moving so that we can keep people going as fast as possible. We would greatly appreciate that. You can organize your things later. Let's get unloaded, get in there, and then we have plenty of time to be able to organize and do what you need to do in there. So we have to keep, that's one thing that's going to be important to the smoothness of this, is keeping those lanes open for travel as we're unloading. So the quicker you can unload, hopefully the better it is. If there's other people in your county there, if they can help you, or if you're together, grab things and go. Just make sure that you take your own things and not others. Keep a space between them if you're unloading a couple trailers in one spot. I just went through this similar thing at college, and it was crazy how much stuff they can unload and move in a short period of time, as long as things are done quickly and moved into those areas so that they can get unloaded and keep people moving. County shavings and shavings. So kind of two different things. So if your county pre-ordered shavings, which was on the county form, counties could pre-order shavings. It will be in one of your county stalls when you arrive. So all of those pre-ordered shavings will be in, for example, if it's Dakota County and you have 7 stalls, all of the county shavings you pre-ordered will be in one of those Dakota marked stalls. So when you get there, those need to be divided out to whoever ordered them or moved to whatever tax stall you want until people arrive to use those. So you can move them to your stalls as you ordered them or as they're divided by the county or however you did that. But know that all pre-ordered shavings will be delivered to your county stalls before you even get there. So that'll save the time for going to get shavings and purchasing shavings then and doing all those things, because we had a lot of them pre-ordered. So that's going to be helpful in just saving time and effort and getting your horse unloaded and getting it in its stall. So just because you pre-ordered those shavings doesn't mean that we aren't going to have shavings available throughout the show. So for shaving needs throughout the show, you have 2 times to order shavings each day, and they'll be delivered to your stall each day. So place your order and pay for them by 9 a.m. for a 10 a.m. delivery each day, or order by 2 p.m. for a 3 p.m. delivery to your stall. So they'll be delivered twice a day to your stall. You won't have to come get them and hump them back there. They'll deliver them. You order them at the Horse Barn table at the main show office. So if you've been on any of the webinars, and I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but we have combined the Horse Barn office with the main show office. There'll be a table that's separate that'll be marked as the barn office. That's where you will do that purchasing. And what they'll do is you'll pay for it. You'll put your stall number down and what county you're in and how many shavings that you paid for on a list. And each time we'll give that list to Simon's Arena, and they will deliver those at those specific times each day. The cost is $10 a bale for those shavings if you purchase them there. You certainly can bring your own if you so choose to do that. Some people don't want to mess with that or have the hassle of it and just rather have it delivered. But they are available for purchase throughout the show.
Renee,
Yes.
can I say that purchase will not be available on Thursday?
Correct. So either you have to have brought your own, thanks for pointing that out. You have to have brought your own or you have county pre-purchased. So the purchase times to sign up for those deliveries won't start until the show starts on Friday. Camping. You'll be parked in the camping area. We'll camp in pods. So we have secured some commercial generators, and they're big commercial generators. They're not little ones for campers. They're big commercial generators. So when I say pods, there'll be that generator around there, and our camping people will be placing you into a pod. So there'll be a circle of trailers. They say we can get 40 campers per generator in those pods. So we'll be able to place people around those generators. So like I said, there'll be camping pods that you'll see, and we'll place you around those. There is electric, so if you requested it, hopefully you'll be able to receive it. We're still waiting for that final, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But know that it's just electric, no sewer and no water. So that just electric will be offered. And right now, it doesn't look like that we will have to draw for a lottery, but we'll need to know by tomorrow, and I'll talk about that a little bit later too. So if you still need electric, you need to get your application in for that as soon as possible so that we can finalize that. We have room for tons of non-electric campers, so that's never going to be a lottery. If you've applied for a camping permit for non-electric, you will receive that. Those passes you'll get when you arrive if you're requested and paid for one. The designated areas for camping and empty trailers and parking we'll talk about those in a map in a little bit, but they will all be separate places. So if you're camping in a trailer without electric, there'll be a designated places that they will park you to camp. If you have an empty trailer that you're just dropping, that you might have extra tack in or extra feed in that you might need to get to, or maybe you don't even need to get to it, depending on what you have, those will be in a different area that'll be designated, and the parking and camping crew will help direct you to where you need to park. And then if you're just parking or someone's coming to watch the show, that parking area will be up top, closest, I would say, to the arena, but in the area up on that same level. But your camping and parking people will be helping to park you and place you in the right spots, and keep us in somewhat of an organized manner so that we can maintain fire lanes like we legally have to, and that we can keep people parked, I mean, as close together as feasibly possible so that we can get everyone a good camping spot and as close as we can to where we need to be. What to bring? So there is electric, and if you requested one, but no sewer and water, I just want to remember that. But bring extension cords if you have them, and adapters if you have them. We do have adapters to rent. But we don't have like hundreds of them. We have about 30 of them that we rent. And when I say rent, we don't keep that money. We just require a deposit for them. And when you turn the adapter in, you get all the money back again for our adapters. But if you have your own, please bring them. And if you have extension cords, please bring them as well, because I'm not exactly sure, and we're not exactly sure how we're going to place these pods yet. So we may be staggered a little bit, so you might have a little bit further to plug in. So if you have them, bring extension cords, and fill up and come prepared with your water and those kind of things. Parking, empty trailers, and others. Electrical camping, like I said, will be in the pods. Empty trailers will be parked in a designated area by our camping and parking directors. Non-electric will be in a designated area, and then plain parking for the show will be up top by the arena, but not right next to the building. Some of those will be held for. We got a couple handicapped, and we have a couple vendors that are coming in. So right next to the building will be off limits at the arena. For parking, it'll be out designated out a little further in that arena. And just please be careful that we don't double park someone in and block them in, and that we keep normal fire lanes. So please, if you park up top or you drop your trailer and you bring your pickup or your vehicle up front, that you keep and maintain pretty straight lines with those fire lanes, because we don't have things perfectly marked out like, well, at State Fair, they weren't perfectly marked out either because they were pretty faint by the time we got to use the lines. But just maintain those things so that we're respectful and not blocking people in. So this is the best. It's kind of a makeshift map, I will tell you. It was put together. We had to shift some things around. Just so if you're looking at the map now, you'll see on the far left is the entrance into Cannon Falls. You will stop somewhere over there by the tents. And as you come straight in, the main doors of Simon's Arena, you're going to drive right in looking at them. Inside there is the show office and or barn office. And then if you're inside, if you continue through the building, the auction area is next. So where Simon's auctions are held, which is where we will have some of our activities, like horse-related judging will be in the auction area. There is a food vendor or a concession stand in there, and she has planned lots of food, from walking tacos to burgers to some breakfast, coffee. All of that stuff will happen in the auction area. She's got a stand set up there. And from there, you go to the indoor arena, and the back part of that is the staging arena. So no matter where you're coming from, you'll stage on that east side. And you can see kind of on the outside, there's an area outside that's also warm up, but there is area inside the building for staging as well. So if it's raining or pouring rain, there's inside places to be. There's stalls on the north and the south side inside Simon's Arena. And then we're putting up a 60 by 180 structure on the north side of that, which will hold the stalls we normally have in the cattle barn that we rent from WSCA, those will be where those stalls are so that everyone will be pretty much attached to the arena or in the arena for stalling. For the most part, we will have a few additional stalls down closer to the outdoor arena, depending, and it's going to be a random draw of where counties are placed and how we can fit them in the puzzle, because it is a big puzzle to get them in. Um, as you see on there, there's a reserved camping area. There are some electrical spots up on that top level. Those are reserved currently for our key volunteers who are working substantial long shifts that we're working, and some of our handicap spots because we need to have them up on that hard surface up there. You'll see the camping road. It's a road. It doesn't show up on this map. This map was done before they've done some improvements for us coming in. There is also a warm-up arena that does not appear on this map, and it's right to the north of that camping road, and it's a really big, and the Hunter Jumper Association put in a new arena out there that we will be able to utilize for warm-up. However, we cannot lunge in it. So Blake, the manager of Simon's Arena, is putting in or will be identifying some lunging pads that we can use. So in the upper arena, the outdoor upper arena, we ask that you do not lunge your horses, only can ride and warm up in there that way. And then you'll see towards there the camping pods where there'll be the non-electrical camping will be along kind of, there's a hill that goes down at the drop of that hill, and then our empty trailer parking will be out, I think towards the north. That's a little bit flexible yet until we actually see what we've got going on. And then you'll see the outdoor arena. They have a road that goes down there now, so there's some things that have been changed and made adjustments to. But in a nutshell, we've got a lot of space that we can utilize. We're not worried about getting people in and out. It's actually a smaller area with more accessibility, I would say, to camping than we have at the state fairgrounds, because some of our campers are a long way away in our state fairgrounds. Will actually be the same distance, if not closer here. And they're telling us the camping areas, they're in a hard packed pasture. They're not worried about it's hard packed, it's not soft, you're not going to sink, you're not going to do that. Even with the rain, it's pretty sandy and packed there. They're not worrying about anything happening if it rains, that it should be a solid surface to get in and out of. Show office and barn office, they will be in the same location. As you walk into Simon's Arena, there'll be a double door main part. You'll see a clear office. Right outside that, there'll be a table set up that will be listed as barn office. You would go to that barn office table, anything about stalling, if it's herdsmanship questions, to order shavings, or anything that's barn related. The show office is all things related to the show. If in doubt, check at the show office and they'll point you to the barn office if you need to go there. So those will be open basically the same time frames. So during the day up until 9 p.m. from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. most days. So check in there if you have questions that are either horse barn related or show office related. Stalling. We're doing our best to stall counties together. We haven't started stalling yet. We are waiting for the final maps as they place those stalls. I'm supposed to be getting them today or tonight yet. So we'll be working on stalling counties together. We will do our best. It's a giant puzzle piece to get everyone to fit and get the counties to fit where they need to be. We are working on trying to get a Dan Patch aisle as well. I'm not 100% guaranteed that that's going to happen yet, but we are trying to work on it as we work on the puzzle of stalling. You'll receive your stalling location when you arrive at check-in at the gate. And if there's nobody at the gate, like I said, if you're coming a little later, check in with the horse show office as you arrive, and they'll be able to tell you where you're stalling. I will be posting stalling charts at around all of the entrances to the arena too. So if by chance you just need to unload and you don't want to run into the office, you should be able to find your county stalls on that horse show map, or reach out to someone who arrived earlier because they will be able to look at the map and tell you where to go. County packets. If you've been to State Horse Show before, we give out a county packet. Generally, it's on Thursday at 6 p.m. We are holding that same time and date. We ask that one person be designated to come pick up your county packet because there's one packet per county. And it should be probably someone who arrives on Thursday who's able to pick that up at 6 p.m. on Thursday, because that's when the packets are available. What's in a county packet? Each youth will get one of the nice show program books. So you will get a pile of show program books, one for each of the exhibitors in your county. Extra show programs are available to purchase at the show office as well, but each kid will get one as part of the registration. The back tag numbers for each of the exhibitors will be in that packet as well. So two for each exhibitor in there. So make sure you keep those. You have to keep that same number for everything you show in at the show. You only get two, so please try and keep track of those yourself. The volunteer sign up list. So if your county if you had 6 families coming and they signed up for 6 volunteer shifts, our goal is to have those printed off in there as a reminder of what you signed up for, and what time and where you need to be. There's a few flyers that will be in there of upcoming events. So Winter Roundup will be in there. Hopefully Boot Camp will be in there and a couple other things. There'll also be a QR code for the live stream, and a connect to videos. And we'll talk about the live streaming more in a separate one, but there'll be a QR code in there. I'll also post some of the QR codes. We'll put that on live stream. So grandma, grandpa, whatever, can watch the live stream from home with that QR code. They can just get into that link. Herdsmanship judging forms will be in there too, and that's just so you know what you're being judged on. Grand entry forms is new this year because, and we'll talk more about grand entry, but just know that there are 2 forms in there because we're doing 2 grand entries. And we'll talk about what those mean later. There'll be 2 different colored forms with 2 different deadlines to turn them in. And then finally, stall cards for each of your horses. You need to have a stall card on your stall. All it asks for is the county that you're from, who the 4-H'er is that has that horse, and what is an emergency contact. So if something should happen or a horse, something should happen, God forbid, right? That we have a phone number that we can call right away and someone will answer that phone and be able to come take care of an emergency if it should happen. But that way we know whose horse is whose and what's happening with those, and we have a contact. Be sure, be sure, be sure, be sure. We will have you sign out so we know who picks up your packet. So if you don't know where it's at, we can at least tell you who picked it up. But be sure all the participants have access to it from throughout the show. So if you come on Thursday and you leave on Sunday and all of your pleasure people aren't there yet, their stuff is in there too. So my suggest is to tape it to the wall inside your tax stall so that it stays there and people can come and get their numbers as they get there, and then it's all in one place. So, because if you take it with you or you forget to give it to the next person, then they're all out their numbers and they're panicked and they're running in because they don't have what they need. So whoever picks up that packet, find a place that's designated or hang it, tape it onto the wall in a stall, or have a designated place so that everyone knows where to come get their stuff.
Renee,
Yes.
I just thought before you get
Get too far, if we want to answer some questions about stalling that are all coming
Sure.
through from camping.
Yep.
Okay, people are asking, what about tent camping? Can they bring tents?
You can bring tents. It's still the non-electrical fee for camping, but yes, you can bring tents.
So they still need to register for camping and pay the
Yes.
non-electrical, correct?
Yep.
Okay, somebody wants to know if they can bring quiet generators. Can they bring their own generators?
If you're in the non-electric, you can bring your own generator. And I'm not going to say it has to be quiet. We have never put really a limit on that. Hopefully you'll be respectful of people. But it's hard to tell someone they have to go buy a new generator because it needs to be quieter. So basically we have allowed generators in the past, and if you don't need to run them at night, that'd be even better. But I get if you do. Just be respectful and place them in a place maybe that's as far away from other campers as they can be.
What kind of plug-in is it? 30 amp, 50 amp, or are they just a typical extension cord plug-in?
They're not the typical. They'll either be 30 or 50 amp and probably a variety of those. So obviously it's first come, first serve, but we will have those adapters there. So if you have any adapters, bring them with that you could use. But I know there's some 30 and some 50 on those generators.
Okay, I'm scrolling through here just a second. People are wanting to know if they'll find out what size stalls they get, where they are.
I hope to. If I can get the stalling done, I can send it out to your county coordinator. If you're in the inside stalls in Simon's, or if you're in the outside barn. So the inside ones would be 8x8s, the outside ones would be 10x10s. I can try. I'm not going to guarantee it. It all depends on when we get the maps, which that's what we're waiting on, and how long it takes us to get those done. But I'll say I'll make it a priority that I can try and get that out to counties on where, and it's going to be a random draw on where counties are going to be placed. So it'll be we're actually enter them into a digital wheel, and it's going to randomly draw counties as to where we start trying to place them, or that's how the map is going to start. And then we may have to shift based on the puzzle. But I will
Okay.
try and notify counties as to where they're being stalled.
So anybody that is stalled in the arena building will have concrete, and all the other stalling is dirt floor, right?
Yes, but there are mats in all of the indoor. So all of the concrete floors have mats. He purchased new mats, and all of the indoor stalls are matted now. So that's a great question.
Okay, people are, here's one, looking at being there only one night, 2 at the most. How are you going to make sure we get our truck and trailer out? Planning on coming on Friday and leaving Saturday or Sunday at the, so if they're in camping, they're worried on how they're gonna get pulled out in the middle of it when it's full down there.
We'll make sure that we keep fire lanes wide enough that it'll be similar to State Horse Show, and we were able to get everyone out there. So we are planning to keep fire lanes big enough that we will be able to pull out anybody as they want to come and go. Or they will be able to pull out, right, and make a corner.
Here they asked about mats, and there's mats inside, outside there's no mats, just dirt, correct?
Correct.
So they're asking here, if there ends up being a Dan patch aisle, will youth leaders be included in that? Or
We're trying.
Oh,
We're trying.
okay. Will
And
the-
again, I'll let Cindy know, who can then let all the Dan Patchers know. Otherwise, if we can't work out a Dan Patch aisle or youth leadership aisle, then the Dan Patch and youth leadership will be housed with their counties, but they will still have the banners. We have vinyl banners that get hung on all their stalls, identifying them as Dan Patch.
Okay, I'm answering some as I'm typing. I'm hoping people can see my answers. Are dogs allowed?
We'll get to that. We prefer that no dogs come, but I get that sometimes, but we will talk more specifically about that in a little while.
Can we know if we're inside or outside? That's still lodging, Dan Patch. What the stalls are made from, so we talked about that. Oh,
They're all metal stalls.
What are they made of?
They're all metal.
Okay.
The indoor
inside
and the
out, correct?
ones we use outside are metal stalls. So plan that for your decorations. You might want some zip ties or that kind of thing. So think about that when you're doing decorations, and we'll talk about decorations. We're keeping them minimal this year. You won't be docked if you don't have any up, but maybe just banners and those kind of things. We don't want anything sitting in the aisles for decoration, but we'll talk about decorations a little bit later too.
Another one saying here, are camping spots down the big hill in the pasture? If so, I'm concerned about getting bigger rigs up and down that hill.
It's not a steep hill. They built a road. There's a road that goes down there.
Okay. Yeah, she says without issues and ruining sewer lines, so I'm not sure what that is about.
Yeah, he's built a road.
Okay. We talked about the stalls, Dan Patch. Oh, these, you might answer these, so if you do later, will there be an area to bathe horses?
Yes. There are wash racks and new wash racks that have been put in, or wash stalls.
Sunday, do we need to, here, we're gonna talk about that. They're asking about if they have to clean their stalls, but that's on
Yep.
your list. Okay, I will. Okay, I will answer some of these myself. You can go ahead.
Okay. So check-in and procedures. Be sure to check the show program as soon as possible when you get there. So look through the book, look at every class that you registered for, make sure that you're listed in that class. If you're missing from a class, that you think you're supposed to be in, please come right away and check in at the show office. And what will happen is we will pull up your original, we have your original registration forms. And if we missed you, like you signed up for the class and we missed you, we will get you added to that class. If you missed it and you didn't sign up for it, we don't add classes at that time. So if we make the mistake, we add classes. You can't add classes at the show. But we'll check, and if it's our mistake, we fix that and get that changed in the computer system. So please let the office know right away so that we can get that corrected so that you appear on the gate sheets and that they make sure they call you in for the class. Otherwise, they won't call you in or they won't know that you're supposed to be in that class because those gate sheets are printed off of those reports. So we need to get those fixed. Please let the office know too if you're scratching a class, because it helps us not to sit and call for you or wonder where you're at or why you weren't there if you're scratching a class. So just let us know. There's a quick paperwork form that you should fill out that just says I'm scratching this class and you sign it so that we can, it's a triple copy thing so we can get it to the places that need to know. So tabulations and show and those kind of things. Know that we run in numerical order. That's meaning numerical order in your class by back tag. So if you are number 23 and the next person in your class is number 105, that's the order we run. So it is numerical and that's how it shows up in the program book as well. But we do run, so no exceptions. Don't miss your class because you didn't know. It shows in numerical order and they do not allow any changing out of order. Unless we have a perfectly great reason for, like you have a conflict, but most of the time the conflicts you feel like they're going to be a conflict, and we work on those, and it doesn't amount to anything. On split arenas, make sure that you know where you should be. So if we're doing 2 showmanships at one time, in this arena, it's not quite as big a deal because they'll both be entering from the same place, even with a split arena. Where in Compeer, if you know, some entered from the east or north and some entered from the south, and we don't want you to miss your class. But pay attention when you're down there, especially if it's a split arena. So know where you should be. Conflicts. We've tried to avoid all conflicts, and we'll talk about how we've tried to do that. But if you have them, be sure to let the key staging people know, the key volunteers who are staging you or calling for you in the tunnel or wherever you're coming in, make sure that they know, and they'll let you know where to go because they know approximately how long it is till your next class. So they'll tell you, hey, you should come up here and run this class because that one doesn't wait, where we can bump you a little bit in trail, for example, because we have that flexibility differently there because they're in blocks. So check in with both of those people or have your parent run up and check in with those key volunteers who are doing the staging for those 2 events if you feel like you're going to have a conflict. But we really have worked hard to try and avoid all conflicts with our schedule, and I'll get into that a little bit too. But make sure that all youth are provided we make sure that all youth are provided the opportunity to show and participate in all the classes that they want, even though it might feel a bit hectic and a bit tight. We wouldn't make you miss it based on our conflict. It's different if you don't show up for a class that you missed and you didn't check in with anybody. But if you've checked in and we're working on it, we will make that work for you. Schedule change. Be sure you have the most current copy of the schedule. On the public website, on the Minnesota 4-H Horse, if you click on State Horse Show, the most current copy is there. The trail time has changed. It is completely different now. So it's still Sunday, but it's in the outdoor starting at 10:30 versus starting at 3:30 in the afternoon. So we had to make that last minute shift to accommodate some things. So be sure you have the most current copy of the schedule. And also pay attention to staggered classes. So this is what I was talking about. So if you're looking, please pay attention. In all of the other shows, we always run grade 13 to 6. Because we're running 2 game classes at the same time this year, one in indoor and one in outdoor, what we've done to try to avoid that is, if you notice, jumping figure 8 will start and go grade 13, 12, 11, 10 on down to 6. But poles in the outdoor is going to start with grade 9 and then go 8, 7, 6, and then back to 13, 13, 12, 11, 10. And the reason for that is we feel that that is the best way to avoid conflicts. If we started both at 13, you'd be trying to run jumping figure 8 at the same time you're trying to run poles. So we had to do some staggering of the schedule. Same thing happens on Saturday with Key and Barrel. So please note what grade you're in and what those staggered schedules are and pay attention to where they're at in the show so that you don't miss your opportunity to run. Monday, Western Horsemanship, even grades followed by odd grades. So that one's a little bit different. So the even grades, it'll be 6, 8, 10, and 12, followed by 7, 9, 11, and 13. So it staggers differently for those. And then Western Pleasure is odd grades first, followed by even. So it flip-flops. Again, it's to avoid conflict. So if you're riding in both, you're not up at the same time. Tuesday reverses, English Pleasure is even followed by odd grades, and English Ec is odd grades followed by even grades. So we tried to juggle them a little bit. I know hopefully it won't be confusing for you. It's listed that way in the schedule. Make sure you're aware when you're getting ready to show where you should be and what classes go. And like I said, we did that because we're running 2 at the same time to get it all done and with the potential of bad weather where we have to shift. So pay attention to the schedule. Make sure you've got the most updated schedule. But it's going to help us. And if you keep track of the schedule, it's going to help us stay on task and stay on track so that we can make sure that everyone gets that opportunity to run without conflict. And we're going to try and post, not going to guarantee it, but we're going to try and post schedules, current schedules on the show office door each morning, just so if you're not sure you have the right one, double check with that and it's there. But the one on the website and the one that will be in the app will be correct, the schedules. Weather beware. If you know we have a good weather schedule, we're hoping for good weather through the whole thing. It would make our days shorter. It would make everything less stressful. But if weather gets bad, we'll switch midstream to the bad weather plan. And hopefully we'd know if the weather might be changing so that we can begin to announce it on the PA system. So all will know when that changes and how that will happen. We'll let people know as best we can, but just pay attention. I'm hoping for good weather the whole time. At any time we could switch to the bad weather plan and we will make do and make it work. So whatever hasn't happened yet, if we shift, we'll switch all to the indoor arena and we'll do our best to maintain that, but it'll make for a later night. Make sure you plan to ride in the outdoor. If there's light rain, sprinkles, we will only call it for weather. If there's more significant weather, lightning, those kind of things, or if it's absolutely pouring, or if the footing is not safe. But do plan if you're scheduled for the outdoor, we're going to try and run as much as we can just so we can keep things moving. So pay attention and listen for announcements of any changes that might happen, or if we are going to make a change and we know about it ahead, we'll post that on the door as well. Herdsmanship. Herdsmanship is going to be judged as it has been, but it'll be judged a little bit more relaxed probably than what we've done in the past. But don't let down your laurels, right? You still want to earn those things because that could get you free trips for next year for your county. What we really want you to make sure is that you clean up after yourself, you take care of your animals, you represent your county with pride. Respect the facilities we have the privilege to use. Judging will happen each day, twice a day. That your area will be judged from Monday or Friday through Monday. So Friday there'll be 2 judgings, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday 2 judgings. You will get a score, and each judging, if you receive a perfect score, your county will be put in a drawing for herdsmanship trips for next year. So the more times you do well, the more chances that the more times your county gets their name in the drawing. So if you mess up one day and you don't get a perfect score, don't give up. Start over. It's a new time each judging. So make sure that you do those things, and the score sheets in there will tell you kind of what they're being judged on. We want animals to be taken care of. We want areas clean. We want things up off the ground so it's not dangerous for animals, like no buckets sitting on the ground or in the stall where they can get feet caught and those kind of things. But most of it's common sense. We probably won't be as strict as we have in the past, but do be mindful of everything on that sheet. And those score sheets will be in your county packet so you can see what you'll be judged on. Grand entry. So grand entry this year will be held twice. And we're going to do it a little differently. It's going to be like an Olympic ceremony this year. part of the reason is we feel it's not safe to put 80 some horses into that arena, the indoor, because it's not as big as the Coliseum. So we're excited to be able to recognize all of the youth who are there at the show. If you're listed as a grand entry rider, you're not going to ride. But it's not because, and we feel bad if you wanted to ride, but it's because of safety reasons. But no, as we talked about in your county packet, there are 2 grand entry forms in there. They're different colors. One is for a Friday grand entry and one is for the Sunday grand entry. And we're doing 2 partly because we know we're going to have gamers there. Gamers might be leaving. We're going to have pleasure people coming in. It's not the same as when we were at the state fairgrounds as far as we know there's going to be more people flexing in and flexing out. So we opted to do 2 grand entries to make sure that we have one during games and one during performance as best as we could. The 2 forms, the Friday form, what we'd like you to do is list who your flag carrier is going to be for the Olympic ceremony type thing. So it could be your grand entry rider if they're there. If it's not, you can designate someone else. What we want is that at that time it'll be alphabetical by county. So for example, we will call Aiken County. We will ask all of the participants and you will need to list who's going to be there for that grand entry on the form for Friday and turn that into the show office by noon on Friday. That's who will be listed and announced and recognized at that. So it would say, for example, Aiken County, we have our grand entry person, our flag carrier tonight is so-and-so. And following them and representing Aiken County is, and we will list the name of kids so that they can all be recognized. So they will come in the arena, go out of the arena. We ask them that they then line the inside, well, outside of the arena, but inside Simons, so that everyone can be there to recognize everybody else. And after we've recognized those counties, then we'll have the Dan Patch kids come in and do a simplified pattern, like a performance, kind of like a drill, I guess, like our grand entry has in the past, and they will do their awards, but then everyone will be there to be able to support, watch, and cheer each other on and recognize all those people in the counties and cheer for them. So we're kind of excited that all of the kids will be recognized a little differently than we have in the past. So that'll be done on Friday. And that paper needs to be in on Friday of who's going to be there for the Friday one. And then a separate form will be turned in noon on Sunday for all and list all of the kids and make sure they're legible so we can read them of all the kids who will be participating in the Sunday grand entry, because we know some kids aren't going to be there the whole time. Practice arena. So we have access. It doesn't show up on the map, but they have a relatively new, the Hunter Jumper Association has built an arena out there. A new one, a nice one, pretty big one, which is located toward the northwest corner of the grounds. So just off of where the parking area is. It is fenced, but it's a shorter fence. We'll have designated times listed for that practice arena to be available. And that'll be located on the wall of the show office and we'll announce it too. But they have asked that we do no lunging in that arena because the Hunter Jumpers needed a different footing and they're afraid it'll be torn up. So they are letting us use it as long as we promise that there is not lunging. So lunging cannot happen in that arena, but we are welcome to ride and warm up in it. So watch for posted areas. They were going to be putting in some lunging pads for us. And I'm going to follow up and make sure that that happened, but we were told it was going to happen. So those who need to lunge their horse to exercise them that way will have an area designated to do those things. So please ride safe, be respectful of others when warming up, and follow the rules of the arena. So please don't lunge when it asks you not to, because we have to be respectful of the Hunter Jumpers have let us use that arena that they paid for.
Renee, somebody asked,
yep.
where can they lunge?
It'll be posted. I have to figure out where those areas, I got to call down there and find out where those lunging areas are designated yet, but I will let people know. So patterns, new this year. In the past, patterns have been made available to be handed out. They're not going to be handed out this year, so they're going to be posted on the wall in the show office, and you'll be able to take pictures of those patterns. So patterns for trail will be posted at 6 p.m. on Saturday, so the night before. Patterns for showmanship and Western Heritage, Western horsemanship will be posted at 6 p.m. on Sunday, which is the night before, and patterns for English equitation and saddle seat ec will be posted at 6 p.m. on Monday. So 6 p.m. they'll be posted on the wall in the show office, and you're welcome to come in and take pictures of those. Please don't take the copy off the wall. We're trying to save a little bit of that, and almost everybody has a cell phone to be able to take pictures of those copies, and it'll save us. We don't have the big copier we normally have at State Fair at this facility, so it's a way that we can be able to save a little money on copying and not have to try and rent a copier to have there. And we feel it'll work fine having them posted and kids can take pictures of them. That way they have them anyway. Interviews. Interviews are open now. So if you're doing interviews, I encourage you to. It's a great way to kind of test your knowledge, but it's also a way to be recognized if you're one of the finalists. So if you take the interview quiz that's online, which you can access that through the State Horse Show website, please do that. And those will be announced, the callbacks, the ones who made the final callbacks, by noon on September 4th. So you need to make sure that you take your test that closes at noon on September 4th. And then those who make callbacks will be contacted for an in-person interview, and that'll be arranged at one of the two locations. So doesn't matter which show you'll be attending, there'll be callback interviews at both of those locations for the youth who have callbacks and participating. So make sure you know that the interview winners will be announced after the show or at the very end after we've done both sets of interviews. But I do encourage you to get on there and do your interview online because it's just another opportunity to be recognized and have the opportunity potentially to win. And I'm going to tell you, we've got a really cool prize that you really would want if you're one of those winners of the 6 through 8 or the 9+ category, senior or intermediate. You're going to want this year's prize. So get on there and get your interviews done and hope for the best, hope for a callback so that you can test your knowledge in person. Live stream. We have exciting news. I know there was some pushback because you paid a live stream fee, but I'm going to let you know what that means. So all horse activities will be live streamed. So all performances will be live streamed, anything with live horses. The activities that don't involve horses will not be live streamed. So your speech and demos, horse judging contest, because we can't really live stream contests, those kind of contests. But everything horse that you're doing with horses will be live streamed. And that will also be for the Sauk Center show too. So the mini show, drill team, and all of the events at Cannon Falls that have horses. So not horse related and those things, because it's really hard to live stream those. And what you get for that fee that you paid with your registration for State Show, which we thought was going to be one free download of whatever your choice was of your runs, they are going to give us access to be able to download all of your runs and performances off of their website as part of that live stream. So they will not only live stream you and it will be out for your family and friends to see. After the show, you'll be able to go on and download your run. It'll be by back tag number, I believe. So you'll be able to download all of those. So whether you have a really awesome, insane run and you're like, yeah, I want to keep that, or you had one that didn't go so well and you can download it, then be able to analyze it and figure out how you can improve that. So there's lots of different ways to do that. They'll be uploading them as soon as they can. They're hoping to be doing it throughout the show so you can look at them, but they can't guarantee it depending on the time frame, right? So if our show goes till 10:30 at night, they may not get them all uploaded by the next day, but they will be as quick as possible. There'll be a live stream QR code in the county packets, and it'll be posted around the show. We'll also put it on Facebook so that family and friends could go on and watch and be able to advertise those. But I think that's pretty awesome that they're willing to give you all of your performances and runs. So if it's individual games, you'll get your individual run. If it's a group class like ranch, for example, you'll get your class's run. So you'll be able to see yourself in that class. National trip sign up. It will happen on Sunday of the second show at 9 a.m. So if you're involved in hippology, speech and demo, and horse bowl, I know it has happened already, but this year all the teams will fill out the acceptance paperwork before the contest or the paperwork before the contest so that we have it all, because we understand that the contest happens on Saturday. You wouldn't have to accept the trip on Sunday. And you don't have to drive back to do that. We're going to have a Zoom one, but if you happen to be there for drill team or whatever, you can pop in. It's going to be in the ice cream parlor at Sauk Rapids. Otherwise, it'll be on Zoom to claim or decline your trip. So if you want to accept it, we'll already have the paperwork. We'll just write accept. If you decline the trip, like say, hey, you know what, we just can't make it work, then we'll tear up the form that you filled out just so we have it all done and you don't have to drive back to be there. But you have to be at this meeting, whether you're there in person or you're on Zoom, to be able to accept a national trip. So you'll be able to accept or decline at that time. We will already have your paperwork if you accept, because you'll fill it out ahead of time, even though you don't even know if you've earned it yet. And coaches will receive information for this sign up, including the Zoom link, so that they can make sure that if they're not there in person, that they have the Zoom link to be able to connect on Sunday morning. Camping registration, we talked about this a little bit. Initially, we said that the camping reservation forms are due by August 28th. And those must be submitted to camp. We still need those by August 28th, but we really need to know tomorrow if you're applying for electrical, and by noon tomorrow, if at all possible. We just need that. We didn't realize we would need it quite as early to figure out things that we need to figure out for electrical camping. But it's priority. So if you know somebody or you haven't applied and you're still hemming and hawing, we need to know, you need to fill out that camping reservation form, especially if you're applying for electrical by tomorrow at noon. Otherwise, August 28th, you could still apply for the non-electrical. And just a reminder, the electrical camping is potentially limited. I won't know till we have the final numbers in, hopefully by tomorrow, to know if we can accommodate everyone. Right now, it looks like we're going to be able to. But unless we get a mad dash tomorrow morning, or something else changes, which it's been an ever-flowing change thing, but, and just a reminder, there's no water or sewer, but there is a sewer pump truck available that you would contract on your own. We can give you a phone number for that. So if for some reason you need to have your camper pump, they will come. It's portable. They will come to you and do that for you. You would pay for it on your own, directly with them, but that is available. Camping is limited to the competitor only, so one camp spot per exhibitor family. And part of the reason we did that, we wanted to ensure that all of the kids who are camping had the opportunity to camp there if they needed to, and we didn't want the electrical spots to fill up with other people, because we felt it was a priority this year that the exhibitors, if they so wanted them, had first option at those spots. So just note that's on those forms as well. But reminder, let everyone know in your county if they're not on tonight. You need to submit the electrical forms by noon tomorrow so that we can ensure we can house them all. Sauk Center, there is some room to camp there. It's a little bit different process there because we didn't rent those. It'll be a direct camping cost of $30 per night if you want electrical, $15 per night without electrical. There's no sewer or water there. It's a different setup. It's at a county fairgrounds. You have to let me know that if you're planning to camp, so that I can let the county fair board know that, so that they can make those arrangements. Otherwise, the electrical and stuff won't be on for those. There is limited electrical camping at that fairground, no sewer or water there, so please plan accordingly. If you let me know you want to camp, then we'll take care of the payment for that at the event during registration. Stall checkout. New as all of you kids will love, you do not need to clean out your stalls upon leaving in Cannon Falls. They will be taking care of that for us, so you can just leave. Now, when I say that, please do report any issues or damages that are to the stalls so we can take care of it before you leave. If damage is found to your stall after you leave, your county will be responsible for that. In Sauk Center, if you are stalling there, which we have way more limited stalls there and not as many people requiring those, you do need to clean stalls in Sauk Center and put the refuse into the designated area before that. Please check out with me before you leave that one to have your stalls checked to make sure that they are cleaned out. At all locations, please check all stalls and your area, especially if you're the last one out, for anything left behind. We always have lots of stuff left and we want everything to get home where they belong. But if you find something at any time during the show, please bring it up to the show office. We'll have a lost and found area there. Showers and porta potties. I have hired or secured a shower trailer that will be available along with the showers that are inside the indoor arena area. So that we have some additional showers available, and those will be up in front of the show office, up front on top. We've also secured and have contracted for more porta potties coming. There are restrooms inside the arena, but we've just secured some more porta potties to ensure that we have enough to meet our needs and we don't overwhelm their sewer system. Gold. Man, I didn't type very well. It's supposed to be golf cart, ATV, UTV. Remember, you have to register for those, and pay for those, and be accountable for those vehicles. You will register and pay for your permit for the vehicle, and you'll receive that upon arrival. Those registrations are due August 28th. There's a registration form. It's available on that public, Minnesota 4-H horse website under the state show tab. Yeah. Champ Show is not allowing them at all, so we are allowing them, hopefully, as long as we don't get out of hand or have too much. And right now we're fine. So just so you know that, because there's, we're just limited on space this year. Hotels, hotels surrounding areas, they have some horse show rates blocked still. If you haven't already booked, please get that done. You book them yourself. Some have different cutoff dates, the earliest being August 4th. Hotel information is in your 4-H state paperwork as well as on the public website. Vendors, we have a limited number of vendors at the show, so please shop them. We didn't get as many people who were coming to this location. I'm sure part of it's because some of them have been at State Fair and don't want to move again and all of that, but we're also very limited on food vendors, but we're still working on this. But I want to let you know, we have one exciting one. There is a food stand in the indoor arena by the auction area, and she has stepped up her game. She is going to be providing 3 or 4 breakfast sandwich, breakfast burrito. There'll be coffee and things. She's doing hamburgers, cheeseburgers, hot dogs, walking tacos. She has really stepped up her game, so there will be food available. Her prices are very reasonable inside Simon's Arena. She'll have popcorn, ice cream bars, that kind of stuff. So please utilize her. And also I have secured the Chick-fil-A regional semi for a food vendor for Saturday only. So please utilize them. I told them there'd be a lot of people there. It was really hard to get them because they're a tri-state thing. So, but the Chick-fil-A semi will be there from approximately 10:30 to about 8 o'clock on Saturday. So, and it's to what I believe full Chick-fil-A or the majority of offerings from Chick-fil-A, it's their big regional semi food truck. So we're happy to have them coming in. So please utilize our food vendors and our other show vendors, shop them, make them feel welcome, buy what you need to buy, and hopefully they do okay so that they want to come back. Volunteer signups. We know this is a moving target this year for the schedule because if we shift, if you signed up to volunteer, please show up for your shift. Our show relies on volunteers to run it. There's a volunteer schedule that will be in your county packet for everything you signed up for. But no, we don't want you to miss your kid's performance or show. So if you signed up and something's running late or you didn't realize your kid would show, please just check in. And if you need to go watch them, let us know or let the person in charge know you can go watch your kid. And then if there's still time in your shift, please come back and finish your shift. But we want you to be able, we don't want you to miss your kid's performance. And especially if things get shifted with bad weather. If you were scheduled in the outdoor arena and it shifts to indoor, please come and volunteer at the same I won't say same time because obviously it shifted to after the indoor events. But if you were doing gates for Western Pleasure and it gets shifted inside, please come to do gates for Western Pleasure on the inside arena. Because just because it got shifted doesn't mean we don't need you. And we do need you. We greatly appreciate all of you who volunteer. Some of you have really stepped up and been my lifesavers for parking and camping. And I greatly, greatly appreciate it. But I really appreciate all of you who have stepped up to do any kind of volunteer role. I know you're busy with your kids. I know you prioritize your kids. We want your kids to have you to support them. But our show really can't run without all of you awesome volunteers. So we appreciate any help that you can give us. And that goes for both shows. I will tell you, we were just informed yesterday that we cannot leave campers between 4-H and WSCA at Simon's site. They are hosting a different show in between ours and Champ Show. So they can't have the liability of leaving a camper there. So they just informed us yesterday that we cannot leave campers between 4-H and WSCA this year. And I was talking with WSCA about it as well this morning. So they're aware where we were notified. So just be aware that there's no way to leave a camper there between the shows. Decorations, we talked about this. They should be limited this year to banners or cloths that can hang from your stall. No props or additional items should be brought this year because the aisles aren't that big. Just a lot of things are playing into that. You won't be downgraded if you don't have any. Still put your banners up. Be proud of your kids. Hang what you need to hang up. Hang their pictures up. Hang their county banners up. We want them to be proud of themselves. But this is a time where you don't have to bring maybe all the props that sit on the floor. And note that all the stalls are metal, indoor and out. The indoor ones are 8x8s. The outdoor ones are 10x10. If by chance in the random you get a stall that's 8x8 and your horse absolutely cannot be in it, you'll need to contact me and we'll do what we can to figure it out. Or, hopefully if you're only there for a day, we can manage that. But just know that it's a random draw. But bring things or ways to be able to hang or modify what you have if you bring them to be able to do it. So zip ties, a way to put zip ties on and a way to take them back off again. Do's and don'ts. I'm going to quickly go through this. No campers and trailers may enter the grounds before 6 a.m. on Thursday. County stalling chart will be posted Thursday on the wall at the horse barn office or at the show office. Any problems with your stall, go to the barn office. Only truck and trailer with horses are up by the barn. Please no extra vehicles while we're unloading. We need to make sure that our lanes go quickly and smoothly. No parking any vehicle outside of the designated areas. Please follow all parking signs for trailers and campers or where you are parked when we have camper people helping. Unload as quickly as possible and only what you need to stall your horse at this time. Please do not clean your trailer of bedding or manure. As you do that, we just don't have the place to put it this year and we don't want to create a mess. Follow all lanes for unloading to avoid traffic jams and get you to where your unloading spots are closest to your stalls. No horses are allowed in the camping area. No parking around Simon's right around the building. Parking will be in designated areas only. No horses anywhere except where designated on the ground. So like don't lunge in the other arenas and don't ride where it's not designated to be riding time. All 4-H rules must be upheld at all times. So all helmets when riding. If you're up on that horse, there better be a helmet on. No bareback riding, no double riding, all of those things. Dogs need to be kept on a leash of less than 6 feet in length. We prefer that dogs be left at home if possible. No dogs will be allowed in any buildings, barns, etc., or any horse exercise or staging areas, the exception of visibly identified service dog. We ask that you only bring a gator or golf cart if there's a major reason to have them for the weekend. No four-wheelers are allowed. Golf cart permits are required to be on the grounds. Pre-registration, you have to have it pre-registered. Only licensed and insured drivers are permitted to drive any type of licensed motorized vehicles on the grounds and or golf carts. Legal number of passengers allowed on that vehicle only, so don't have 10 people on your golf cart. No driving of any vehicle without lights after dark. Limited number of people on that vehicle. Please limit your number of trips up to the barn during rush hour or when we're unloading, just to avoid that. You can come in person and you can bring wagons and things, but please don't block traffic or stop that so we can keep things moving. Any of the show committee can pull you over and ask you to park a vehicle or take keys if they feel you're abusing the right to have that vehicle down there. During the horse show, bicycles, scooters, skateboards, rollerblades, four-wheelers not allowed. And remember, be safe and courteous to others. We're all in this together, and we're doing our best. And remember that this show is run by volunteers, so let's be patient. We'll work through any bumps that we have, and we will make this a great show, and we'll do our best to figure things out. And just one more reminder, know where your kids are and know what they're doing. Please respect private property and the facilities that we're using. Just a common reminder. And important, please, please, please make sure that your families get this information. It's crucial that we share as much of this as possible so that they can be ready for this show because it runs a lot differently than what we're used to. So please make sure that this is being recorded. It'll be posted by tomorrow, I'm assuming. So if you have people who need to watch this, or make sure that you pass on the information that you can to them so that we can be courteous neighbors to our fellow exhibitors, but also help to make sure that the show runs smoothly. Additional questions?
Okay, I got a long list here. I'm trying to answer them, but I'm not keeping up.
Okay.
I'll start at the very top here. Let me get up here. They want to know if we can send this on the slideshow. I'll include that on the website. Renee will share it with me, and when we post this recording. Where
Yep.
will there be an area to bathe horses?
There are wash racks, yes.
Okay. If you don't know if counties will be stalled next to each other, how do we put up stall front curtains and decorations?
Counties, they will be. We just might end up, instead of all being in one row, you might end up with two and two across from you. So you will all be in one area. You won't be scattered all over. So when I said that it won't be like some of you are in this building or 4 rows over, you just might not be in one straight row. But you will be all together, clumped together.
Okay, somebody's asking for a picture of the stalls for decoration purposes, and somebody also asked about stalls, if there's solid bars or is it solid or bars between each wall between the stalls?
You know what? I can send out a picture. I'll send out a picture.
Okay,
Or I'll post it on the website.
how about we post it on Facebook?
I can do that. Yep.
I don't know if I can get it on the website. Will the
Okay.
outside structure be a large plastic tent, or will it be an actual permanent structure?
So I've been told it is what they're calling a structural. I believe it's tent, but I've been told it's a structural tent, which means there's no center poles like a tent is, right? It is a structural building with a tent type roof. The thick, heavy tent type roofs. That's what I've been told. So it's not like a windy, fluttering tent. It is a structural type building. That makes sense. So no center poles that get in the way of stalls. It'll be open on the bottom inside.
Okay. They're asking, is the extra barn for stalls up and ready to go? And I think when I talked to them, they weren't gonna start setting it up until after Labor Day.
Correct.
Will there be assistance for new youth? I have seen confusion and new youth and parents leave.
Well, I'm hoping, I mean, the best will be, we're always willing to help families. So if they come in the show office, someone's always willing to help them. But ideally, it would be best if you in your counties, if you have people that are seasoned or have been there before, or if you've watched this, that you kind of all help each other out. We are giving, I mean, we know there's going to be, especially this year, there's always new families every year. And we want to do our best to support them. So some of their best support can come from you in the counties, but we are also willing. So if they have any questions, have them come to the show office. Or reach out so that we can help support them or answer their questions so that they don't feel like out on that island with no help.
Somebody's asking, are Ryan rescue horses gonna be there?
No, be no horses there. And the stalls have all been disinfected and sanitized.
Okay. I'm looking on the schedule. Somebody's asking, when will Pleasure Type Western Pleasure be ran? And on our show schedule, we only say Western Pleasure. We don't split out the pleasure type. So is the pleasure type before
Pleasure
Western
type's on there. Pleasure type's on there.
Unseat pleasure type is, but not Western Pleasure type.
Pleasure type. I thought it was on there. I thought I just looked at it yesterday.
I don't see it. I see Outdoor Monday, Western Pleasure, and then the grades 7, 9, 11, 13. But down below, Hunseat Pleasure's outside, but English Pleasure's inside, but that's on Tuesday.
Let me look. Actually, I'm going to. Let me look at that. Keep going and I will look it up.
Um, so are there gonna be announcements throughout the show so kids running in the indoor know what is starting in the outdoor?
Yes, and the live stream will be up too.
Okay, somebody asked if there's, where there, where will, where will we warm up if bad weather starts?
Good question. As best we can, we'll hopefully give you, if bad weather starts, we'll give time in that staging area because there's a fairly large indoor portion before you actually enter the indoor arena that we will probably schedule time for warm up. If
Uh,
that happens.
Okay, somebody's asking if we know the dragging schedule during the game events.
I don't yet. It'll be similar to last year, and I believe that's every 10 riders.
Okay, will there be electrical and will there be speakers connected to the PA system in the temporary stall building?
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
Okay, so they're wondering if they can hear the announcer in both arenas in the barns so we know where they are in the show. I don't know what kind of speaker system is in the barns and the outdoor and the lower the hill stall barn. I don't know. Do you know?
Not for sure, but I know they're working on that.
Somebody is asking if they can put a feed bucket on the stall floor and on the stall floor until my house is done, then take it out.
Yes.
When is
As long
English?
as it's not left there empty.
Okay. When is English showmanship? Isn't English showmanship is after all the other showmanship classes, right?
Correct. It's all showmanship that day.
Right, but I think they're asking if it's starting, do you start with English or do you start with,
I believe they start with Western.
right. Will there be a professional photographer at Cannon Falls and at Sauk Center?
There will not be.
At either location?
Nope.
Okay,
There will be shirts though, shirt sales at both locations.
okay. Will the trail obstacles set up for practice?
They won't be set up for practice, but you will be able to see them in the arena.
Okay, is there Wi-Fi at Simon's and what about the camping area?
Camping area there, if it's further, I actually don't, let me ask about that. I know there's Wi-Fi there. I don't know what the distance is.
Will there be additional electrical drops added? Was at Simon's in the beginning of August and plug-in are minimal.
Say that again.
It says here, will there be additional electrical drops added, question mark, and then was at Simon's in the beginning of August and plug-ins are minimal.
Well, that's where those big generators
Right.
are, where we're plugging in. Because the plugins, are you talking for camper?
I'm thinking, I don't know, it doesn't clarify that. I'm assuming they're asking about electrical drops, probably can is what I'm guessing.
Or plugins for stalls?
Yeah, I don't know. Are decorations for the stalls for each county still expected?
No, I mean, you don't have to.
Okay,
It's your county's choice.
if we leave games portion and our pleasure kids are still there, will the stalls cause negative for herdsmanship if they're not cleaned out?
As long as there's no poop in them and there's just shavings in there, no.
So when they leave, they should make sure there's no poop in their stalls.
Correct.
Okay. Do you know, are there showers in Sauk Center? I know
That's a good
that
question.
outdoor, I know there's that outdoor bathroom right there by the bandstand and across from the 4-H building, and I want to say, I think there is a shower in there.
I think so, but I can check on that. I'm not sure.
Here it says we don't need to clean out our stalls at the end, but what about daily cleaning? Where do we dump the wheelbarrows?
They'll tell you. There's a designated area.
Do you know if 50 amp service is an option for electrical camping? That's yes, right?
Yes.
Will there be wheelbarrows provided on site?
There will be some, yes.
Is there electrical close to stalls to hang fans in the stalls in case it's hot?
I don't know what that capacity is yet. I'm not sure.
Okay, can we park our car by our camper if coming separately?
Depending on, I'm gonna say probably yes. But it won't be like right next to it. It might have to be on the end of it. You know what I mean? It'll have to be within the fire lanes. And we need to camp campers fairly close together. So hopefully you'll be pretty close to your camper.
Okay, additionally, will there be forks, rakes, etc. on the grounds?
You will need to bring your forks and rakes. For stall cleaning, you bring your own.
Okay, is there an in-person interview for the finalists?
Yes, for interviews, yes. It'll be in person. And if you are a finalist, she'll reach out to you to schedule a time to do those.
Okay, you answered the question about wheelbarrows. Now we're getting into second weekend. How will you handle youth or in hippology judging and speech? Do the kids still judge 6 classes in judging? Will the hippology exam times be shorter than usual?
It'll all be relatively the same, but we are working with people if they have conflicts. So speech and demo, the main conflict, speech and demo is flexible to schedule in there. Horse judging will be going first, starting in the morning, followed by hippology, later morning, early afternoon. The other contests, so like speech and demo, and all of those, the individual contests are sandwiched kind of in between. So as they break from this before they start this, or it's flexible, right, to come and go on some of those schedules. To be able to do that. The bigger conflict that we have probably is those kids who are showing minis and also doing hippology and judging contests, and we are going to work with those kids to make sure that that happens. So they might get moved, they might get moved to the front of the line to do their reasons so that they can move on and get their other things done in a timely manner. But we'll be managing those conflicts.
Yeah, and they asked if the hippology exam times will be shorter than usual. They will be the same as previous years.
Yes.
Somebody asked what details can you give for horse judging, but you kind of talked about that right now. Will we be able to hang gather spot county banners in the stands?
No.
There is no big stand or arena for people to sit, right?
There's bleachers all the way across.
And then in that auction area, there's bleachers and they could watch it from the live stream.
Yep. Yep. But it's not, no, it's not like the Coliseum where you kind of designate your area. I mean, it'll be different because it's just not as big.
So people are asking me, how do we register for camping? How do we register for electrical? I think instead of me trying to answer all of these questions separately, I decided to let you know the link to register for camping is on the Minnesota State 4-H Horse Show website. I have shared that link several times in the question and answers. And you have till tomorrow noon to register. If you registered for non-electric and you changed your mind and you want to do electric and get put in that lottery, hopefully we don't need to use the lottery, but depending on how many change their mind and want to do electric, you need to email me and I will, by noon tomorrow, and I will change your registration to electrical. Don't go in and re-register again, because then I have multiple registrations and I have to print permits. And it's hard to go through a 200, 300 list of people and make sure I'm not doing doubles. So if you want to switch from non-electric to electric, email me if you have already registered. If you have not registered, the link is on the State Horse Show website. Can other family members come to watch? I want to say yes.
Yes, but space is limited. Just
Right.
remember that.
Are we allowed to have fans?
I mean, we are allowing them. I just am not sure right now what the electrical hookup will be per stall. I've got to find that out. Hopefully it's weather like now, so you won't need them necessarily.
People are asking about when classes start, what are the hours of the indoor arena? The indoor arena is the hours of what the schedule is. And if,
Yep, and we don't take any breaks. So it starts, both arenas start at 7, well, most days 7 a.m. And we just run consecutively. So it just keeps going until the show is over for the day. There are no lunch breaks. We don't time out. We don't do any of that. So we just keep running class by class. So grade 13, 12, 11, 10 until the show is over for the day.
Yeah, so
So
watch,
whatever it lists as a starting time is when the show starts in the morning, and each class will follow that. The times after the starting point of the day, the times are approximate. So if there are 3 things in a day, for example, on Sunday, I believe it starts with Equestrians of Disability, is scheduled to start first, followed by, I can't remember. So those times after the first class are approximate. Everything just runs consecutively. So don't say that, well, sorry, training wasn't supposed to start till 3, but we started at 2:45, so I missed my class. Those are approximate times. The only exact confirmed time is the starting time in the morning. We just did a best guess, knowing by if we have 45 riders every other year, it's taken us this long. So we did it for our calculations and a best guess of starting time. But the only for sure confirmed time is the first one in the morning.
I'm looking through here, people are asking again about wheelbarrows. There might be some there, but you said to bring yours, bring your own?
Bring them if you have, bring them, or at least like by county, bring one.
Right.
I would suggest you coordinate by county, or like if you have a game delegation and a performance delegation, that you might bring 2, one for each. So if one goes home, the other one's still there towards the end. So I would coordinate those things as a county programs, because you only have so much room in your tack room as well, and you're hauling it back and forth. But bring whatever supplies you need for doing your herdsmanship.
Okay, asking about fans, electrical, we already talked about that, we don't know. Where will there be stalls for the mini show or just haul in?
Haul in, those are both haul in shows, unless you were coming from like a mat, because they don't start till I think it's 10:30. So unless you're coming for like 4 or 5 hours away, we're really limited on stalling there. And so it was first come, first serve to stall those people who are driving the furthest distance until we're full. And we are pretty full there. So
We have youth doing mini and judging apology. Are those conflicts being handled? I want to say yes,
Yes.
we work with
Yep.
everybody.
Yep, we will handle those.
Are the schedule time changes only applying to the big horse show, not the mini horse? Mini horse will have no schedule changes?
No schedule changes. Oh, well, actually, no. So it just lists a show order. So it will start and it will also go consecutive in that show order that's listed in the schedule. So showmanship followed by whatever class, whatever class, whatever class. But I will let you know, and I didn't put this in here, and I should have probably, because of the significant number of kids who have registered for the state miniature show, we have hired a second judge and have a second arena at Sauk Center. So what we'll be doing is one judge will be running all the classes grades 6 through 8, so that that's consistent. The other arena will have all classes 9th and up. So we'll have 2 sets of jumpers and 2 sets of hunter going, one for the grade 6 and up and one for the 9+, so that we can make sure that that show doesn't go super late, that we can run it efficiently. So we have hired a second state judge, and we will be dividing up the mini show into grade 6 through, which we already had them by classes, but instead of running a class of 35 and a class of 35, we're dividing it up to make the show go more efficiently.
Okay,
But that's based on the numbers that we got in for registration.
somebody's asking if they can have hay nets in their stalls.
Yes, as long as they're up tall enough and they're not empty, where a horse is gonna get tangled in it, or it's gonna sit there empty.
When will patterns be posted for the mini show?
They will be posted, the morning of the show by 7.
Will there be a trail walkthrough?
Yes.
Somebody said, will you be talking about horseless and horse-related static projects?
Horse related and horseless horse, that time frame for when check-in is, the kids will come there and either sign up for a time to come back, or if they want to just get in line and get it done, they can do that as well
But
for that
horses,
scheduled time period.
but horseless horse is second weekend, horse-related is first weekend.
Correct.
Will there be any opportunity to practice in the indoor arena? My horse has never showed indoors and the echoing may disconnect them at first.
Yeah, Thursday it'll be open. If you're there Thursday, and then hopefully if it's good weather, right, and we're not there till midnight, we will have it open hopefully most of the evenings for at least a few hours for people to get in there and ride. And we'll announce when those open riding times are.
Yeah, people are commenting also that there are a couple of showers in Sauk Center by the fair office, but somebody said it's not warm water. So, I don't
And
know.
I don't know for sure. I'm gonna have to find out for sure what buildings will be open for that.
Okay, let me find out here where did I go? Somebody just said, are there reduced rates for Sauk Center show? I only see it for Cannon Falls. I don't know what she means by reduced rates. The rates are the same no matter what, straight across. The only difference is that the kids that are at the second weekend in Sauk Center that are doing hippology, judging, speech and demo, any non-animal class did not have to pay live stream. But otherwise, the program fee and the class fee was the same no matter what weekend you attend. So I don't know if there were reduced rates where she's talking about that they were posted. I don't know where that is, because there shouldn't be. Will there be room for awning and slide outs in the camping area?
Slide outs, you will be guaranteed to be able to put your slide outs out. It'll kind of be like State Fair was in that respect. So we don't care if you have your awning out as long as your neighbor doesn't care and as long as there's enough room, or you might be able to get it most of the way out kind of thing. But for sure, you'll be able to put out your slide outs.
Can we keep our hay in our tax stalls?
That's up to your county decision on if you have room and how messy it potentially might be.
How will kids know if they made the interview finalist?
They'll be called or emailed, text, whatever. They'll be contacted.
Okay. At Simon's, can my pickup stay hooked up to my camper?
Most likely, yes.
If camping in a separate camper, is there nearby trailer parking for the truck and horse trailer?
It'll be a separate place, but it'll be it'll be accessible for you to get stuff in and out of an empty trailer.
Okay.
Because we know a lot of people will keep extra hay there or keep feed there, and they'll be able to get to it and be able to get their stuff up to the building as needed.
Okay, and then someone's double checking, no horse projects are in Cannon Falls, correct? That is not right. Horse related is in Cannon Falls, and that is not a live horse project. But horseless horse and the speeches and demos are all at the Sauk Center location. But horse related is the only non-horse project that is at Simon's Arena.
Correct.
Somebody's asking, can you please clarify check-in times for Gaines, Pleasure, and Pleasure will be not seeing it on the schedule. The schedule has the times of starting. So I don't know what you mean by it's
So
not.
check in like for your class, you just gotta pay attention and you can check in for your class, the class before. If that's what you're talking about. There's no check-in to check in at the office per se, because you will have your numbers and all of that stuff in your county packet. But just checking in for your class, you want to show up at the staging area, and whoever is kind of staging kids or announcing, they have that list and the next class. And if you go up to them and say, hey, I'm number 445 in grade 7 and I'm here, they'll check you off and say thank you. And they'll have you marked so they know that you're in that area ready to go.
Asking check-in for camping and checkout times. Camping, you check in at the gate. That's the only way you will get your camping permit. And like Renee said earlier, if you're coming in and there's nobody at the gate, like maybe on Sunday or Sunday afternoon or whenever you coming in, if there's nobody at the gate, then you need to come to the show office to get your camping permit and check in. There are no checkout times for camping. You leave
Correct.
when you want to leave.
And if you have an adapter, all you need to do when you rented an adapter from us, like I said, rent is we don't keep your money unless you don't turn it back in. All you need to do before you leave is bring the adapter back up to the show office and they'll give you your money back for the use of it. And if you happen to take it home, then now you bought the adapter for the money that we held on it.
Okay. They're asking, are they required to do interviews? No, for horse show, you are not required to do interviews.
Nope.
Somebody says, we said that there's not much space for spectator, not many seats for spectators, but is there standing room?
There is standing room. And I'm not saying there's probably going to be enough room that if you brought camping chairs up, like from the trailer, that there's places to put those as well. It's not the Coliseum. I'll tell you that right now. It's more like if you've been in the Compier building at the State Fairgrounds where there's a row of bleachers on one side, that's more like what it's going to be in the indoor. So space is limited, but there is standing room. There's standing room there.
Somebody keeps telling me that the schedule is still wrong and not showing trail on Sunday. It's still showing trail Sunday. I just want to say that you probably need to update your website or your browser or whatever you're doing because the show schedule does show trail on Sunday starting at 10:30 a.m.
In the outdoor.
in the outdoor.
It
Yes,
moved from the indoor to the outdoor and moved earlier.
right. So we're not going till 10 o'clock at night.
Correct.
Unless there's bad weather, then everything changes.
And then it'll go back to what it was before.
Yep. Can you warm up in the indoor arena in the morning? When is open riding in the morning?
I'm gonna wait and I'm not 100% sure. That'll be posted and announced if there's open riding in the morning.
Okay, somebody's asking, when will we know about stalls for Sauk Center? We are very limited on stalls and we are full on stalls of what horses.
If you've contacted me, it's likely you have a stall. But we are, and then I had one I had to turn down. We are full. I'll just say, we'll be honest, we are full in Sauk.
So if you haven't talked to Renee about a stall, you do not have a stall because we are full. So here, this one says, I do not believe our county pre-ordered shavings. How do we pre-order? Need to email me and contact your county as soon as possible. I need to get that shaving order into Arena and to Simon's like by tomorrow. That's why we moved up our camping reservations because we got to get stalling, camping, all of that done by Wednesday, Thursday. So if you want pre-order shavings, email me and your county staff or email me and I can look to see if they pre-ordered.
Yeah.
If we registered immediately for electric and the need for a lottery occurs, will we still be placed in lottery draw regardless of order registered? Yes, it doesn't matter who registered, when you registered. If you're the very first one that registered for electrical and then somebody else registered on the 100th person, it doesn't matter what line or order you registered for, you all get put in a hat equally. Do the kids still judge 6 classes for judging?
I believe it's all the same.
Same as last year, right? If we stay in a hotel, can we leave the trailers on site?
Yes.
What if we only want to be there specific days? So I don't know what that question is. You don't have to be there we don't keep track of when you come in, when you leave, only if you're camping and when you come in through the gate the first time around. Otherwise, it's not like State Fair where you have to stay there the entire time. You can go in and out whenever you want, and you can be there whatever day you want.
Yep. We do ask that if you come in for checking in the first time that you're there, preferably the first night before 10 o'clock on Thursday, but if you come any other time, if you could get there before the show office closes at 9, that's best so that you can make sure that you can get where you need to go and that you get what you need.
Will the indoor be open for riding in the morning before the show? I think you talked about that.
That'll just be announced or posted.
Yeah. Somebody's asking about hay nets. Can you have two in their stalls? But you said only if they're not empty.
Yep, and up high enough that they're not gonna get a foot cut.
In unrelated events, it shows grand entry and mixers on Monday versus Sunday. Want to confirm second grand entry is Sunday. Correct.
Yes, correct. 7 p.m. Unless it's bad weather, then it'll be after the indoor show.
Mini
Both
horse.
grand entries and mixers are scheduled for grand entry, followed by the dance in the indoor arena at 7 p.m. on Saturday and Monday.
You mean Friday and Sunday?
Or, sorry, Friday and Sunday.
Mini horse showing both days are only one. They are only one day and it is Saturday.
Correct.
Second weekend. Do you bring your own safety pins? I will have safety pins. There'll be some at either office, the show office and the horse barn office. We will have pins there. When do we need campers out by? And can we get them Wednesday? So our show ends on Tuesday. I'm assuming they need to leave that day, correct? Because no campers.
Yes, horses have to be out 1 hour past the show ending. I guess I would say you would have to talk to Blake to see if you could pick it up Wednesday. I know we have to have horses out because he's got to clean, disinfect, and be ready for the next show coming in. But you might be able to, I would say, talk to Blake Kruger at Simon's Arena to see if you can come back Wednesday to pick up a camper. I don't want to make that call. He's the one who would make that call.
Will we know prior to arrival the size of our assigned stall? And I know Renee, you talked about that.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm hoping to have it out. Like, when you came when it was down at the state fairgrounds, you knew if you were in the cattle barn, which was on the concrete, you knew if you were in a cement stall, so you could plan for that, or you knew if you were in the horse barn regular stalls. My goal is to have all of that done so that I can let you know by Tuesday. I'm hoping to have stalling done by Tuesday, so I can let you know if you're in the indoor or the outside building or where you're located, and that would tell you what size stall you have.
Okay, people are asking, for the mini show, will trailers be near the arena if we want to tie at the trailer between classes?
Yes.
Can camping payment, so I'm getting asked about camping payments because there was confusing. We started out saying that we were gonna collect everything at the gate.
Yep.
That got changed when we added electrical to not have so to try to make the line go faster of not having to worry about people writing checks and bringing checks. So we are asking that you mail them. I know it's getting short, cutting it close on getting them to me, but I prefer that you mail them and hopefully, and if you register late and you don't get them in the mail on time, then bring it. But we are preferring that you mail them in advance. Is there a group rate hotel for the show and Sauk Center? No, I did not book any group rates in Sauk Center. Is there lighting out in the camping area for safety? Also, can you save a camping spot by you for someone you may be arriving later that same day? I know there is no saving camping spots. Unless you pull in at the same time and you're behind each other. Renee, do you know are there gonna be lights out there?
I know Blake is working on that. We're doing our best.
Somebody's asking if there'll be a second meeting like this for the second week, especially talking about hippology, judging, and speech. I don't think we have one scheduled, do we?
No, but I believe we could, or I can have. Let me talk with the two hippology and horse judging chairs.
Okay. And I think I just figured out where people keep telling me that trail is still wrong. It's on the upcoming event schedule, not on the actual show schedule. So if you look under what participants need to know on the State Horse Show website, if you look under that drawer, that is where the show schedule is, the good weather and the bad weather schedule, and the schedule for the second weekend. I will have to do a request for Sunday to get the trail date changed, because I think they broke it out in there for me, so I'll have to look at that. Are campfires allowed?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I will find out.
Seems like electrical availability, I figured out where will the updates be posted. We will notify you by email. I will notify families by email if you about electric when we know if we have electric for everybody or if we do a lottery draw. So anybody that registered for electric gave me an email address. So once we have all of if we know, once Renee tells me how many electrical spots we have, and if everybody gets one, I will email everybody. If not everybody gets one, I will email a list out of who gets one or post it on the website. How long of an extension cord do you need for electric?
I can't answer that. I am not sure. I mean, if you have it, bring it.
In the barns for fans, somebody's asking about barn fans. Lori posted, hippology coaches will receive information via email as soon as she works out the schedule. It will be similar to horse show conflicts any other year. Judging will happen first, and right now 6 classes will be judged. I think I have all of them. I don't know. I hope I didn't miss anything. If I did, send me and Renee an email and we can answer.
Yeah, if you're still on, there's my phone number, and my email. So if we missed one or something pops up and you're in dire need of having an answer, feel free to reach out to me either by phone or by email. And I'll do my best to answer it. I know there's a few, like I said, it's still a kind of a fluid thing. And there's some things that I just don't have the answer for yet. So I will be working on them. Your questions have helped me to be able to know some more things that I need to find out or ask so that I can get that information out to you.
Okay.
It's like I said, it's a fluid dynamic this year of the change. So doing our best.
Looks like that is all the questions.
Perfect. Like I said, I'm just gonna jump back and I said, I hope everyone has a safe and a fun show. And I look forward to seeing everybody in about a week and a half. It's coming up fast. So look forward to it. We're gonna have a great show down there. We've got lots of kids coming. So that's awesome. They'll be able to show off and be recognized for their skills and earning their trip to state. It'll be a fun, nice event for those kids. So thanks everybody for your participation tonight. Like I said, if things come up, you have my email or my cell phone number. Please give me a call or ask those questions so we can try and help answer them for you. I will try and get the questions that I couldn't answer tonight answered, and get that back out to you as best I can, and watch for stalling information as I get that done. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good night.